Hi, this is Mary, your holistic recovery coach. Today we're talking jails, institutions, and death. This is a recovery concept or saying in the addiction recovery field that's been around for a long time. And really its origin, I think, is in the days way back when there weren't all these different paths to recovery and different treatment options before there being kind of a recovery revolution of sorts over a period of decades. When back when doctors and various practitioners were really pretty mystified and frustrated and at their wits' end with alcoholics and in terms of how to treat alcoholics and addicts. Basically, alcoholism was considered a hopeless malady, and where basically the expected destination ultimately for alcoholics was jails, institutions, or death ultimately, because untreated, which most was not treated for a long time because there really weren't successful treatment options a long time ago. Today we are far more fortunate, but that's where that saying originated, I believe, in the early days, and that it still applies today for untreated alcoholics. It's a series of also what we call yets. Hasn't happened to you yet, then that's fortunate for you if you're an active alcoholic, but certainly ending up in jail is always a possibility, depending on where your drinking or drugging leads you. And institutions, meaning, back in the day, they meant like mental institutions, psychiatric wards. Really, people just would lock up, have alcoholics locked up, prior to, around like, in the 1920s, 1930s, prior to this kind of recovery revolution that began around that time. And that's where people would end up, because they wouldn't know what to do. So later stage alcoholics in particular would end up, if they weren't in jail, they would end up institutionalized, okay, in some type of hospital or facility, mental facility. And today that's not the case. Of course, people do, incarceration is a whole nother topic. In terms of alcohol and alcoholics and addicts, but certainly plenty of people end up incarcerated as a result of their alcohol or drug abuse. But also plenty of people end up in institutions today. Usually they involve, usually it's a rehab, sometimes just detoxing in a hospital, and then people just kind of get sent back out on their way, and without longer term treatment and other resources, and are, usually left to their own devices, pick up again. But jails and institutions are still pretty common, and of course death is as well. Certainly plenty of alcoholics and addicts end up dead as a result, directly or indirectly, of their active addictions. Today, however, hopefully far fewer than used to end up in jails, institutions, or dead, because recovery is possible, because people know more now about it. There's more awareness. There's, gradually, ever so slowly decreasing stigma around these topics. That's part of the reason that I do these videos. It's, the more you know, right? The more that's out there, and the more people know about alcoholism and addiction, with awareness comes power, the power to access help, to the power to understand this better, to have compassion for people who are dealing with it, and to better know how to help them, and to better know how to help ourselves along this path of recovery, and to cross that bridge from the active addiction into the recovery process. So jails, institutions, or death, really, really, really grim, sad, but accurate depiction of the potential destination of untreated alcoholics and addicts. Again, today, thankfully, there is so much hope and so many resources available. As always, I'll put some links in the description below the video. But now hopefully you have a better understanding of what that saying is, if perhaps you heard it and didn't know where that came from, or what that's about, what it pertains to. But jails, institutions, and death. I'm glad not to be headed for any of those today, and I hope you're not either. Please reach out with any questions, comments, if you have suggestions for topics for other videos, and I'm always open to that. Thank you, and have a great 24 hours.